Thank you guys for coming this afternoon. As Nort said, it's a very significant day for us. We've been able to, earlier this week, secure Ken to an extension of his existing contract. As you recall, in late 2012, we appointed Ken to the position of senior coach for a period of 4 years. We're 2 years essentially into that contract, and we've now extended it for a further 2 years to the end of 2018. It's recognition of what we would consider to be significant progress under Ken's leadership of the football program, and we hope continued progress is before us, and we're very happy to be sitting here committed to Ken and Ken committed to us for that length of time. So I'd be very happy to take questions.
Well, the first one, Keith, will be why do it now? That's always issues on coaching is always interesting. Why at this time?
We really like the idea of stability and continuity. If you notice, I'm sure you have, over the past 12 months we've systematically gone through our entire leadership group within the football program and signed all of the key people to extended periods of time, You know, people like Jason Cripps, our list manager, Jeff Parker, national recruiting manager. We've got Vossi on an extended contract, Darren Burgess, Sean Hart. These are the key pillars of this football program, and we just like the idea of protecting and nurturing what we've got. We think that stability breeds confidence and continuity, and we're very happy with the way the program's going, and Ken is obviously at the forefront of all of that, and the only reason we're doing it now is because he had the initial longer contract, and now we've just brought it all into line.
Are they worried in losing you again?
No, there's never to worry about losing me. I was very happy, obviously, at Port Adelaide, and I've been incredibly lucky that Keith just talked about people that are really important to the success of our program, and I'm lucky enough to play a part of that team, but have all those people involved that committed to the long term. I think that's great stability, as Keith talked about, and I think it's the success that you need. It's the secret that you need for success, and you have to have people that you think are the right people, and then you've got to back them in, and I think our club's been able to do that all the way through.
So it underlines what you said at the beginning, that you would be the right man standing?
Yeah, well, it's nice to know that a couple of years in that we've progressed in an upwards direction, and we hope that there's still a lot more to come.
Keith, you always think that you have the right man 2 years ago, but to be re-signing him only halfway through a deal, you must be, I guess, stoked that you've found Ken.
Yeah, I've got to say it was a much riskier decision the first time around than it is now. We've got a little bit more to work with, a little bit more on the board, if you like. But what we liked immediately with Ken was he brought great clarity to his messaging around football. He knew exactly what he wanted the team to play like. He has sets a very high standard for his team. Relentless in his pursuit of that standard and success, and he tells the truth, and I think that for decision makers like myself and the board, we know exactly what we're going to get with Ken, and we knew that immediately, and so you back those sort of people in, and that's thankfully been proven to be true, and you know, I don't think this will be the last time we extend Ken's contract, to be honest. You know,
Ken said he wasn't going anywhere, but are you aware of any other suitors or anything like that sort of chasing?
No, I think the people in footy understand that loyalty is important, and Ken's a very loyal person. Success is important, and we're getting a little bit of that at the moment. A lot more to do, but we're getting that. And I don't think that anyone was seriously thinking that Ken was available in the very near future, but we really just wanted to really set set a platform for the next 4 or 5 years. That's really what we've been trying to do, because we think that with this playing group and this coaching group, that's probably where they're at. You know, the next 4 or 5 years is the time it's going to take to fully, you know, sort of maximise this group, and our responsibility, both Ken and I, have a responsibility to transition into the next phase and the next group. So that'll give us time to do that as well.
Ken, most coaches love security. Is there a reason why you were happy to do this one right now rather than put it off, or did you want to do it so quickly halfway through this contract?
Oh no, I mean, for me it was a simple question was asked: was there interest to do something for a longer term? And not one moment of hesitation for me. I loved my time at Port Adelaide. My family have settled in Port Adelaide. We've just brought a home. We want to make Adelaide home for a long period of time. And when you get that opportunity to do that with a team of people that I said before that I really trust, and I'm talking about David and Keith, particularly there in the board, that we share the same vision. And when you know that that's the thoughts of those people, I think you do want to be a part of that. And I'm more than happy to lock in for that period of time and hopefully help the club achieve what we want to.
So what sort of timeline are we talking about here? How long does this take to unravel?
So I spoke to the board Ken will be surprised at this, in May last year about securing the whole group. And we really committed, when we were in Hong Kong actually, we had a strategy session in Hong Kong, and we committed to this period of time, and it took me a little while to get to Ken, to be honest. We haven't been talking that long, but I think probably seriously just in the months before Christmas.
Is something that you were really keen to get signed before the season started?
I don't think there was a great urgency to do it. Once we decided that's what we wanted to do, and we knew that Ken was in the same boat, might as well get it done. You don't want these things lingering on. But there was no burning finish line either, the timeline. But we were able to get it done at this time, so that's fine.
Keith says about it was risky first time for Port Adelaide to go into you. How risky was it for you to take on Port Adelaide? And how do you feel about it now?
No, well, see, my situation was quite different than the club situation. Mine was, I'd proven over a period of time that I was keen to have a go at senior coaching. I had some hesitation on the Port Adelaide front because of some of the journeys that I'd been through. So I was a little bit sceptical of that, but I always wanted to coach in my own right and get that opportunity. Now Port Adelaide have shown great faith in me to give me that opportunity when, a lot of people maybe question why, I suppose we then had to get together and work together and show that the reasons why we were going to work, and now we've proven that that's so far been okay for us.
Do you have less doubt today about what you could achieve at Port Adelaide than you did on day one?
No, you don't go into a job with doubt that you can achieve something. I think in this industry you've got to believe in what you can do, and I certainly was strong enough in my own belief and that we could make a significant difference at Port if you put the right things in place. And I keep going back to that stability one and good people. If you put the right people in place, it takes time, and it will always and continue to take time, and there will always be some good and bad days. That's just what the industry we're in does to you.
Ken, what effect, if anything, does that security of tenure have on your day-to-day role?
Nothing, probably. I mean, I'm as committed as the playing group are, as the whole football club are, to continue to make sure Port Adelaide progress, and that doesn't do anything for me other than know that I know where I'm going to be for the next 3 or 4 years at least, and it's comforting from one point of view, from a family point of view, but more than anything it won't change anything that I do, and I'll be working just as hard.
So have you got everything now? Look, Keith talks about putting things in place and securing people long term. Do you feel this is now everything's locked away exactly as you need it?
I think we've got a really strong football program, there's no doubt about that, but we've still got lots of things to do, and footy's a tough game. It can turn quickly. What looks so promising one day can look not so promising the next day, and that's always been the case, And when I first come into Port Adelaide, what looked not so promising always had an amount of promise about it, and today's it's a little bit more reversed, that it looks quite promising for us, but we've still got to do the work.
Tying into your point about good people, whether you're a coach or a player, is honesty, I mean, where do you sort of rate honesty as a trait in football?
That's a really bad question to ask me, I reckon. It's what you should stand for. It's what you should be. Got to be honest, and you've just got to be a good person. And, you know, culture, values, all those things that we talk about. I'm lucky that I work with incredible people at this footy club, led by the bloke beside me, when it comes to values and culture. I don't think you could get two more identical people with the way I think we both are, not just here at the footy club. And I think that's an important part. We live it.
Do you think there's a timeline on a coach?
Do I think there is?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I sometimes think that it's a tough day and it's a tough job, and how long can I last? And then other days I think this can go on forever. This is just the greatest job in the world, and I enjoy most of those moments. But there's some days where you get a bit tired. I more think of the playing group than me. It's not. Am I going to wear out? It's more. Are they going to need a new message at some stage? And you know, we all think that happens at some point along the journey. I'm not silly enough to say that it won't happen, but you know, at the moment, I think we've been together for a short period of time. We have buy-in from all sides, and you know, we're prepared to keep working.
So when Keith says he doesn't think this will be the last extension,
Hope he's right. Hope he's right.
Keith, is part of this deal to send a message to fans and supporters and even opposition clubs that, hey, we're pretty right, we're pretty settled? Was that part of the strategy, I guess?
No, not really. It wasn't part of the strategy, but I don't think it's a bad message to send. Our fans bought into Ken day one. And it was simple because he actually lived and breathed the ethos of Port Adelaide. It was like he'd been born and bred here. His language was like that, and so people got that. And you know, I think that you guys might have made mention of the fact that had we not signed him, I would have been lynched, and that's probably true. You know, but in regards to sending a message to the rest of the group, we don't really think that way. We think about what do we need. You know, is what we are putting together capable of being highly competitive for a long time, not just now, for a long time. And you know, we think we're starting to get those pieces in place, and I don't think it ever ends. I think you have to keep evolving. You've got to keep an open mind, and there are certainly things that we will continue to invest in as we go forward. But from the people, the key people and leadership point of view, I think we're in pretty good shape.
Ken, how do you now maintain this level of success that you've set at the club? You mentioned before about possibly needing a refresher as far as coaching goes in a few years, but how do you keep it fresh?
For me, it's really easy. We haven't got anywhere. We've got a long way to go, and we're not silly enough to fall into the trap of you know, what people might or might not say about you. But we know we just got to continue to work really hard, and you know, the journey says you don't start this job hoping to be okay. You actually start this job wanting to be great, and that's where we start. We started this job hoping to be great, and we're continuing to chase that, and that's what we're after now. We're still chasing great.
so Ken, what have you taken Port Adelaide? To read your quote that you feel like this is your club, the one you want to be at for a long, long time. Why do you say that?
Oh, you just can't not connect to this club. You know, it's just impossible. And the history, the supporters, you know, the way that it just feels right, and it feels part of what I am and what my family are, and that's important to us. Is that, you know, it's almost you know, the suburban Port Adelaide suits the country Hinkley family a bit, and that's what we are, and we seem to fit up okay, I reckon, and I feel really comfortable in the environment. That it's not an environment that I'm frightened of, where some do scare me sometimes.
Keith, is this 2 years on top of the old deal or a complete new deal?
We basically start. It's a new 4-year deal basically, and so it kicks in straight away.
If I can just go on to another topic, that Adelaide today announced that they're changing pricing structures and that sort of thing for the fans. Is that,
Yeah.
do you think, add a bit more pressure to the SMA?
I don't know. I think that I'm on record as saying that people will judge the value of the entire experience. And you know, if they're having a bad experience at the stadium and the food's too expensive, that'll add to it. If they're having a great experience and they're having to pay a little bit too much, well, it maybe balances out. What we have to do as a collective, and in this specific instance, it'll be the Oval Management Group. You just got to keep listening. You have to stay tuned to the market and to the consumers, and if they're saying repeatedly that it's too expensive to go to the footy, well then you've got to act. And I think in Melbourne, that's what Gill and the venues have done, and I think and you would applaud them for that. But I'm not saying that Adelaide Oval is in that situation yet, but you've just got to keep your ears open.
Do you think even economically speaking, it might pay to lower price? I mean, I know I would never ever pay $5 for a bottle of water, but if they were $3.50, I might pay $2.
Well, I don't want to get into the pricing strategy of the Adelaide Oval, to be honest. But if a bottle of water is cheaper, you're going to sell more of them. Whether you can sell enough to cover the gap, who knows? But that's really a question for Andrew Daniels, I think.
But Port would, if I could just have one last one, Port would never look at maybe unilaterally subsidising food, drink, whatever at the menu?
Well, I don't think we could afford to do that, and I don't think it's our responsibility to do that. That's for the Oval to sort out.
Ken, is it better for you to be comfortable with a long-term extension or on edge, wondering if you're going to get the next one? What's best for you?
Clearly, if you talk about security, it's an easy answer. But if you talk about performance, I don't think it's an issue at all for me. It's not the way that I operate. It's not one moment have I spent. I'm sitting here today knowing that I had 2 years to go. Not one moment did I think I need to do something about my contract. I always say it takes care of itself. You do a good job.
Get what you deserve.
I think there's a quote somewhere being used once by me that it tends to happen.
I guess, and regardless of how many years you've got, I don't think AFL coaching would be anything that you could particularly describe as comfortable.
No, you've got to work sometimes in this seat. It is a little bit uncomfortable, but we tell our players all the time, get used to being uncomfortable. It's a good space to operate in. It makes you more accountable.
Last couple of guys, all we've done.
What about Matthew Nicks? How quickly can you lock him in, or do you think it's best to leave him where he is at the moment?
I think, like our whole team, our whole coaching staff, Nicks is, he's very much working towards his own career and the success of our football club, and he knows along the way, like all the coaches do in this program, if you're working hard and you're doing your job well, you'll get the rewards that you deserve, and he'll be no different. Like all the coaches, not just Nixie, not just me, all our whole coaching team, and that's the key message for me. Is it's not just me, it's the team, and every part of that team is important to us. And
you're accepting that it can continually change as it has for you. Like you've had constant change now with your coaching group over 3 years.
And that's what good teams are able to do. They're able to handle, and people get recognised and they get rewarded. And if that happens, as it has in the past with Richo and Phil, we're really happy for them. And hopefully there's more of those people and more of those opportunities for our people.
Keith, just on Ryder and Mike Freeze, your last press conference, you mentioned you were going to approach the AFL to see if you get any sort of compensation. Have you?
Yeah. No, look, I had that conversation. We basically agreed to just wait and see. I think that the AFL are open to a discussion, certainly around Angus, given that we had no visibility before we recruited Angus about this whole issue. But we haven't taken it any further than that. But I think they just are saying, let's get to the result. Let's understand what it is, and then we can have a mature conversation about it. I was pretty happy with that.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Good chat.
Well done.